Well, hello Gundam fans, Adam here with another episode of Gundam Explained, and today we're going to be looking at the Robot Spirits Gerbera-Tetra. Here is the box for it. This is from 0083 Stardust Memory. Shima is the one that pilots it. She's a bad guy from the Delaz fleet. Latest podcast, episode 13, I kind of did a deep dive into the Gerbera-Tetra, so let's actually look at the action figure. And before we do that, please subscribe if you haven't. There's a video in the description about a giveaway I'm doing. There's going to be 2 items I'm going to be giving away, so be sure to subscribe, leave a comment there. Once I hit about 600 subscribers is when I'll do the giveaway, so yeah, let's get started. All right, here we go. Here is the Gerbera-Tetra from Robot Spirits. It's a recent release, so it has some fantastic engineering in the articulation, and even the sculpt and design is awesome, and we'll get into that. Let me take off its accessories real quick. All right, so here we go. Really cool design that is completely pulled off here. Some interesting things about the design of this is seeing the, the cabling look here and here. That's very reminiscent of a lot of the Zeon or Zeonic developed mobile suits. Even this little arm guard right here is very similar to the Sazabi. So while this mobile suit was actually based on a Gundam, the GP-04, that was never fully developed, and it was then within Anaheim Electronics, Zeonic then took that design and Zeonified it? I don't know what I'm trying to say. They Zeonified it and gave it to the Delaz fleet. All right, so let's check out the accessories. So here is the beam gun or beam rifle. Here is one of the beam sabers, the hilt and the blade. And here is the additional backpack thruster piece here that includes additional thruster fuel tanks. And actually, this is articulated, the thrusters here as well as the fuel tanks. And it looks great on the back. I'll put that on in a second. Another beam blade and the animated looking blade for that kind of slashing effect. I haven't taken it out yet. Here is the beam, the beam rifle effect part. And it actually has this additional one here. So that's pretty cool. I love the color. I noticed when I had the lights off, and it could be because I have some blue lights in this office space, it kind of did a neat neon look to it. It was very cool. All right, and then, on this thruster here, there is a antenna that I had taken off when I had it in the bag. Let me see if I can get that in there. Yeah, to kind of complete that look. Really cool that it comes off that easily. It actually has a secondary one because it could be easy to lose, break, etc. But also you can see that on the Gerbera, there's the antenna on the head, and there's actually another antenna piece. Pretty typical, especially with the 0083 Stardust Memory line of Robot Spirits to have that extra stuff. It's pretty nice. And then, also with the beam saber, it comes with another hilt, but also a little contraption here that you plug it into, right? And then that actually, and I'll show that here in a little bit though, but it actually plugs into there. It looks kind of funky because when it's in, and actually let me just see if I can show it right now. So unless I'm doing something completely wrong, it seems to be designed to make it look like she's initiating that saber release to grab it. And I say she because this was designed for Shima. Garou, I want to say the last name was. Should have prepared for that. But so you can't really have them stored, which on one hand, I don't mind. I can keep them in the bag. On the other hand, I kind of like the mobile suits that allow you to store the beam sabers and take them out. All right, and for that giant thruster piece, that just plugs in on the back. And here you can see it makes it a much more massive unit, but looks very cool. It has articulation for the fuel tanks. So yeah, just very, very cool. And with that, it comes with one of my favorite, the thruster effect pieces, because you can't have enough of these. I mean, think about it. It comes with 3. We can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 places that you could really put thruster effect parts. And, I have enough to do that, so I'll need to do that. Get them all thrown on there. Maybe I'll have that done by the end of this video. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's dive into some articulation. So, for the headpiece, there's a lot going on here. It almost seems like it's limited, and sometimes it's kind of hard to grab from the bottom there to be able to get the range you want, but it can do it somewhat. I would say that, and we'll get to the waist, but because you can't get a reverse ab crunch going on, you can only get so much up for like a flight pose. So you can see like right there, the vehicle or the mobile suit can only look up so much. So also with the head, yeah, some slight, actually, if you manipulate around here just enough, you can get a lot of rotation there. And even looking forward quite a bit. In this back piece, it's very neat. This is just some added articulation so that the head can look up even though it's limited, and that piece just moves up. So for the shoulders here, we've got a couple things going on. We've got a whole mechanism on each side where we have these thrusters that are actually just on an up and down, but the thruster within that actually is on a ball joint, so that moves around quite a bit. But also, we have like these exhaust vents here that is actually attached around on this, and that seems to, it has some movement as well, and it seems to share, I guess, the connection piece to the thruster here. So they'll tend to move together, but that's fine. And that's all above the actual shoulder joint of the arm. So the arm, it can get up enough. And it can go down there. It's got, the elbow, you would expect it goes up quite a bit. Also, what's interesting is it has this side-to-side elbow. We've seen that on some other mobile suits. I can't recall off the top of my head, but this allows for being able to fit weapons and stuff as they're wielding them to get some poses, especially on the trigger finger handle I'll show later, where we have the beam rifle in there. And to allow it, you need it to be able to have some give in the elbow in that direction in order to fit the stock underneath. So again, on the shoulder piece that we see, it has these fins on the back. I really like the way it looks. I kind of like turning them like that. I think it kind of gives a cool symmetry with everything. But it's on a ball point or ball joint. Yeah, just strictly a ball joint there. All right, moving down to the waist, we have some swivel. Now, it can swivel pretty far, but when you're doing that, you are rubbing against some pieces up here, so just be careful of that. Otherwise, it should be fine. And the ab crunch does go forward quite a bit. Not a whole lot, but just enough. So there's not the typical side skirt armor we would see, but on the upper thighs where the hilt for the beam saber goes, that actually does open and close. I have the thing holding the beam saber in there. So really, you wouldn't be able to close it all the way, but if the legs are together with the holder of the hilt in there, yeah, it does close. So getting to the legs, I know, so that's interesting. This piece will kind of block opening it all the way. Let me get that out. And they turn around, so it seems like these pieces here are, I guess it's more of how you're moving the hips. There's a lot of swivel here at the hips, and so that can kind of help, I guess, depending on what you're trying to do. They don't really seem to get in the way too much, and I mean, that's a decent enough spread that you would need for posing this mobile suit. Let's see, the legs go up quite a bit, and there's also a pretty neat piece of engineering in here. It's this, if you can see, that kind of goes down a bit, and it's like on a spring, and that helps so that you can get that additional back movement in the legs. I really like that. That's a very neat feature. Let's see, moving down to the feet. So, something else that's interesting about the design of this is the feet are very reminiscent of a Gundam foot. And I think the purpose of that was or not the purpose, but the reason for that was because this was originally a Gundam in universe that was then taken by some Zeonic sympathizers within Anaheim Electronics, and then they made the AGX-04. And then with the foot, see, that comes down, so you can kind of get it way more than you really need to. Like, this is super unnecessary, unless I was going to do some like battle damage or something. And then it goes back enough to where it pops off. Okay. Let's see how much easy it is to get that back in. I guess before I put that back in, because it is a little difficult, you can see it's like a double barbell ball joint. I know there's technical terms for that in the action figure community, but that's what gives that the range of motion, and inside is like a hinge. So very, very neat articulation there. All right, holding it closer to me off camera, it was easier for me to get it back in, so no worries there. I think it's nice when pieces pop out. That means that in an event of maybe too much stress on the articulation or with a fall, the pieces will pop out instead of break. All right, so that was it with the articulation. Now let's get some cool poses going on. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention that I like, I don't know if this is in universe or not, is the the grip on the beam rifle allows that movement, and that's to help really get it into the hand. I guess have a little bit of wiggle room for it to be positioned correctly with the mobile suit. And real quick, I wanted to show off something here. So you see on the side of the box, it actually shows this effect part here, and that actually comes with the option parts effect set, which I have, so I was gonna throw it on there. And before I fully show this off, I wanted to add that there is a thruster in the back of the thigh that actually has articulation as well. That helped me when I was putting on these effect parts. All right, and take a look at this. This looks sick. I'm using the effect parts that came with it, effect parts from the option set, and then effect parts that came with the GP-03. And man, I would love to just pose it like this. Just seeing those effect parts flying out just looks sick. I love it. All right, here is that extra effect part that came with the option set I was talking about. Now, as cool as it is, it's too heavy, and the arm just falls down. At first, I thought it could have been a loose joint, but even with the effect part that it comes with, it doesn't seem to do that. So, yeah, there's just something to keep in mind. You could easily just get another stand if you really wanted to hold it up and really go all out with effect pieces on this. I dig it. Okay, totally forgot about one thing. Let's see if we can get this done here real quick. So the figure has a mono eye that actually moves around. You just have to try to get the top headpiece off. I haven't... Oh, all right. Well, that's how it is sometimes when getting these pieces off. They're a little difficult, but there it is, the top of the head. And then right here, let's see, how would I move that? Okay, so there's a piece on the back here, and by moving that, you can rotate the head. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's a cool little feature. I will probably try to just keep it aligned for now. And then let's see, getting the head back on should be pretty easy. All right, and there it is with the head back on. All right, here is the Gerbera next to a GP-03. Makes sense, and they are to scale with each other due to it's the same line of Robot Spirits, the same awesome engineering articulation. They did not release too far apart from each other. And just looking at this on the monitor, just seeing the colors, everything just really pops. I really love the way these figures look, and they use their effect pieces. All right, another fun little thing I did was another part of that Stardust Memories effect options set. There's probably an official name for it. They have a cool little, like, animated beam saber effect part. It's not the same green. It's pretty close, though, actually, now that I'm looking at it. I think it was mainly meant for the GP-02, but you can easily use it with Shima's mobile suit. And it even has an effect piece you plug into to then have, like, more of a damage effect look on whatever the attacking or whatever it's attacking. So that actually does look really cool. And did I forget to mention the hand tree? I think I did. I forgot to point out all the different pieces. It's got different pointer fingers here, although it seems to be best to use the longer one for the gun, but it's got a shorter one that could be depending on how the beam saber is being held. But it's also got relaxed sort of pointing, or if, holding the gun with two hands. So a lot of the cool options that we'd come to expect. All right, and with a final look at this, I love it, actually. For the price, it's kind of right around that price. These newer ones come in at that aren't with that extra bulk, even though the packaging itself is a little thicker. It does include that large piece on the back, which, I'm just realizing the antenna came off, which on one hand, that is good because it means it doesn't break when it gets stuck somewhere, but that could also mean it's easy to lose. Let's test something out here. Okay, that seems to okay. Yeah, with just the right tap on it, depending on the angle it's coming from, it will just pop off pretty easily. So again, that's cool because it stops it from breaking, but it could be something easy to lose. Well, there you have it. If there's anything I missed that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Or if there's anything in general I should be covering when I'm reviewing these Robot Spirits figures, let me know also in the comments. And thanks for watching. Talk later.